Hi everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to take your coaster from Rhino and we're going to export this as a DXF. If you haven't done so already, let's find this class, ARC A170 coaster, and it's a CNC file, so we're looking for AutoCAD Drawing Exchange. I'm going to call it coaster with my initials. I'm going to hit save, and we'll just use all the export defaults. And now that I've done that, I can navigate over to my internet browser, and you're going to want to look for Easel Inventables, and you can go ahead and start a new trial. It's going to allow you to try Easel Pro for 30 days for free. However, generally you're not going to need Easel Pro because we already have Easel Pro, and we get Easel Pro subscriptions as faculty here, so it's already configured here. So you'll get Easel Pro. With Easel Pro, you get to do some 3D CNC milling. You'll get to access more tools, and you'll be able to create jobs where you have to have the CNC come and allow you to switch to another tool to do another mill on that same project. So you're never going to need Pro, but I highly recommend that you get an account with Easel. So I'm going to go ahead and log into mine, and I'm going to hit continue. And this is kind of what it looks like at first, and I'm going to go ahead and click on new project, and here we are in Easel. So the reason why I would want you to get this get an account with Easel and try out the Pro, but you're not going to need Pro forever. The reason for that is I want you to be able to have your files here and ready, so that way by the time you get to the makerspace, it's as easy as plugging in your flash drive into the laptop that's over there, so you can start milling right away. So I'm going to change the name to this project to Coaster. Okay, I'm going to hit close, and I am going to go to project, and I'm going to import. Actually, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to click on this import button, and I can import a DXF. And now I'm going to upload my DXF. I'm going to click on this plus button, and I'm going to navigate to where I saved that DXF file. So it's right here, Coaster TJC. I'm going to click on upload, and it's going to ask me if I want all my lines to come in joined. I'm going to say yes, join, and cut path. We really don't need to worry about this now, so I'll just leave it on path. We're going to change it later anyways. Alright, so here we are. I've got my coaster file in here. On the left side, I can actually configure where I put my coaster. I can make some changes to it. I can add some additional shapes. Easel comes with a few extra little shapes that I can create, or lines. I can add some text. I can explore their Pro Design library. I can measure things. I can use different apps. So since I already designed this in Rhino, I'm really only here to select my different lines and use different toolpaths for them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on cut. Now I don't want these all to cut out, right? Really, I only want this outer one to cut out. So you're going to want to need to know what type of material you're using. You're also going to want to measure that stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and just put 8" by 8" material. I'm probably going to use some 1/4" material. So, and then my XY0. You can only switch this to center if you're using Pro. So we'll just leave it at front left corner for now. And I'm just going to choose birch plywood. Okay, and then the next thing I want to do is I want to grab this outer layer, and I want to make sure that it cuts all the way through. But instead of the router bit cutting on the center of this line, I want it to cut on the outside. So I'm going to say cut outside of shape path. That way the output will be a 4" diameter coaster, right? If I said cut along the path, then it's actually going to be just a tiny bit smaller than 4 inches when it's all done. So I'm going to say cut outside shape path. Whenever we do our final cuts, we always want to use tabs. Tabs are these little, there's these little tab pieces that connect the original stock material to your new coaster that you're cutting out. And the point of these tabs is that when it does that final cut on these coasters, that coaster is not going to come flying out of the machine, because that router bit is moving very, very, very quickly, about 10 to 20,000 RPM. So we don't want that coaster to come flying at us, or flying at the door, or really even just wrecking the machine potentially. So we add tabs, and that keeps it connected to the original material. And we can distinguish, we can control the length of the tab, but we can also control the height of the tab. So as you can see here, the height of my tab is going to be 0.08. That's about a third of the way through my material, right? If I'm using 1/4 inch material, 0.25, the height of this thing is 0.08. It's about a third of the thickness of the overall material. So the first 2 layers are going to get milled out, and then that last third is going to be what's going to keep this coaster hanging on to the rest of the material. So we always want to use tabs when we do that final cut. Alright, so now I've dictated that outer one is the cut. It's going to go 0.25 inches. I'm going to use tabs. I'm just going to use 2 tabs. The more tabs you do, the safer, but also there's a lot more work for you to do. You're going to have to clean up every one of those tabs. So I'm just going to put 2. And then I'm going to take this line here, and I don't want it to be 1/4 inch deep, right? That one is just meant to be sort of almost like a gutter, so that way when the condensation of your beverage comes down from the cup, it's going to go into this little teeny tiny gutter. So instead of it going the full depth, I'm just going to have it go, let's say halfway maybe, so 0.125 or 1/8 inch. And we can see here in our preview, it's updating, right, in real time. So if I were to change this to 0.05, here's the new change, right? So I'm going to put it back to 0.125, and then I can say cut on shape, cut outside of shape path, or cut inside of the shape path. I'm just going to say cut on shape path. That one I'm okay with it being on the shape path. And then lastly, I have my 3 initials. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm holding down Control and using my scroll wheel to zoom in. I'm going to hold Shift as I left click each one of these initials. And this one, I'm going to say we're going to clear out a pocket. Okay, so I'm going to clear out a pocket. And the depth of these, let's make that also 0.125. Okay, so look at what happens when we say clear out a pocket. Okay. Okay, why is it doing that? Why does it output it in this way? Well, the reason for that is if I have the router bit try to just stay within this section, the router bit itself is only it's got a 1/8 inch diameter. So if this is smaller than 1/8, it's not going to be able to compute it. So let's see if I can use cut on shape path. Yeah, that's not ideal. Let's cut inside shape path. Still not really great. Cut outside of shape path. Yeah, so this is where we might need to get back to Rhino and amend it. So I'm going to go back to Rhino. I'm going to go back to the top view, and I'm going to observe this. Now, if I draw a circle, and the diameter of the circle is 1/8 inch. Okay. Look at how this letter is smaller than the diameter of the bit. Therefore, it's not able to create that part. Now, it can easily do this part, right? It is a little tight on this one, but it can do this top part, and then it could do this one just fine. But even up to here, right? As you can see, it's the bit is rotating upon the axis of the router, so it's never going to make a sharp inside corner like that. So it seems to me like this top part is a problem, this bottom part is a problem. So let's go back to our file, And let's put this on clear out of pocket, and that's exactly where the problems occur here as well. Actually, the C looks like it gets a little tight up in here as well. Yeah, I didn't notice that earlier, but yes, it does. So what can we do about that? Let's go ahead and delete my little diagram of a circle. I'm going to type in text object. Okay, so what we want to do now is we're going to change the height to be, let's make it point, so we just had 0.5, let's try 0.7. Okay, now that's much bigger. So let's go and place it down there. I'm going to delete this. Okay, these are my 3 curves. Oh, sorry. I'm going to undo. Let's do text object again. I still had it set to solid, so let's say curves. And let's try 0.6. That might be okay. Seems a little thin. Let's try 0.6. I think I had it on Franklin Gothic medium or heavy, I think it was. So I'm going to hit OK. That looks better. Nice and fat. I'm going to take all those and delete it. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to move it. And where do I want to move it from? I'm going to try that again. Hit undo. I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to do text object, Franklin Gothic medium, 0.6, and group output. While I have it selected, I'm going to go ahead and place it upon its the center of these 2 circles. And now if I draw a little circle, 1/8 inch diameter, if I run that through to simulate, I can see it totally fits within the letters now. So I'm going to delete that circle. I'm going to CNC, I'm going to put it on the inside layer, change object layer. And now I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to export it again, and this time I'm going to give it a new name. So instead of coaster TJC like the last one was, I'm going to call it coaster 02 TJC. I find that sometimes if you give it the same exact file name and then you go to import it, sometimes whatever software you're using will still look at the old file and not the newly updated one. So by giving it a whole new unique name, I know for sure I'm exporting the correct thing. So I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to delete all that. Let's import, DXF import, upload the file, hit the plus button, coaster02, hit upload. Let's do joined on path. All right, now let's zoom in. I'm holding control, zooming in with the scroll wheel. I'm going to say this one. Let's start with our letters just to make sure. So I'm going to highlight this letter, hold shift, this letter, and this letter. I'm going to say clear out of pocket, and look at that. There we go. Looks much better. Let's change the depth to 0.125. And there you can see that because of the nature of a bit, it's always going to round those inside corners, and that's okay. We're just practicing our CNC skills here. So now I'm going to take this inside corner, I'm going to give it a 0.125 depth, and instead of cut on shape path, actually let's leave it on cut on shape path. Okay, and then this last line, the outside line, I want to say cut outside shape path, 0.25, and there we go. There we go. Now this file's ready. I'm going to go project, link, and we'll take that, copy this link, and from here now you can just email it to yourself, or you can put it on your own flash drive. So if I go back to my flash drive, I can do a right click. Let's do a new, and I'm going to do a new shortcut, and for the shortcut I'm going to go ahead and paste that right into there, and the name is going to be coaster 02 TJC, and this is just a link now, and it's a link that's saved here on my flash drive, but once I get over to the makerspace, you can put the flash drive in, click on this link, and then open up the project in Easel when you're at the makerspace. All right, so let's go and CNC this.